on December 17th at 3:45 p.m., at which time Nick Rekieta will, presumably have to either shit or get off the pot. He's already had one deferral on this issue. And presumably he's going to be forced to either be like, okay, we're going to trial, or I'm going to enter a plea. And the indicia seem to suggest that he's going to enter a plea. And I'll make a bet as to what that plea is, so we can see how good my predictive powers are going to be. I don't know. The state's really pissed. The state's probably pretty pissed. So I might be being too generous, but I'm gonna make a prediction. Let's see how close I am. My prediction is that the plea is to possession in the 4th degree. He's right on the line of 3rd degree anyway, because 25 grams is the threshold for 3rd degree, and he has like 26 and change. That includes packaging. So my prediction is that they plea him down to 4th degree, 2 years probation, and probably dismissal of at least one of the misdemeanors, maybe both. So we'll see how close I am at the end of the day. But of course, a lot depends on how pissed the state is about having to go through all this. The reason that the state would offer a deal is, as I've said before, one is their largesse. They don't really want to beat up on first-time drug offenders with no criminal record. They're a blue jurisdiction, blue state, and they want to just be merciful. So mercy is one factor, and the other factor is time, expense, and certainty. They still have to prep for the trial. They still have to put the witnesses on. They still actually have to conduct the trial. That is energy, money, time, and other things that could be used for more productive exercises. So in the interest of efficiency, they would be offering some kind of deal. But I think that there's going to be a felony. I think he's going to walk away with a felony, and I don't think there's going to be a conditional discharge. If there was ever a chance of walking away with this thing with a conditional discharge, it was long ago. And I don't think the state's in a particularly glorious mood. So my prediction is 4th degree with one or both of the misdemeanors being dismissed. 2 years probation. We'll see. Law and Crime really wants to see this go to trial. I kind of want to see it to go to trial. I want to see this to go to trial, man. I am coming up there. And I tell you what, man, if it is a Thursday, we're going to Stoney's. We're all going to Stoney's in Rockville, Maryland for $2 Thirsty Thursday, $2 cans for Thirsty Thursday. And I, your friendly Uncivil, will buy the community collectively 100 cans because I'm just that nice. So if this goes to trial and it's a Thursday, we're all going to Stoney's, and the first 100 of you get a free can courtesy of your friendly Uncivil. It's going to be fun. 7 days to go to find the 17th. We should find out what he's doing with the deal. He probably won't enter a plea on the 17th, which is just as well for me. Because if they don't enter a plea on that day, then that means that they're going to announce like what day he's going to formally enter the plea. They'll make the agreement, but he won't formally enter the plea. And if there's a break, if he doesn't enter the plea on the 17th, that means I get to contact the court and ask for permission to stream it, so that we can all watch Nick Rekieta say, "I did it. I did it. I did the thing." Would he have to stop doing drugs as part of the agreement? Yes. Yeah. He won't be allowed to do drugs or probably even drink for the next 2 years, which I'm sure will be super sad for him. No drugs, no alcohol for 2 years. Yeah, it's going to be rough. Medic Mark 22 for 10 Canadian dollars says, "I really hope Nick goes to jail. He almost certainly will not go to jail. It's exceptionally unlikely that he'll go to jail. Even if he was convicted of everything on the table, he almost certainly wouldn't go to jail. He's a first-time offender. The recommended sentence is 4 years probation. So he was never looking at jail time. And there's really nothing here that would suggest jail time. So there's nothing about this case that would suggest for a more aggressive posture. So I think it's exceptionally unlikely that he would go to jail. For the drug thing, he may wind up going to jail for other exciting things, depending on how those investigations develop. But yeah. So, it's just a simple run-of-the-mill personal possession case of an otherwise law-abiding adult who has read a reasonably lawful life. And so my thought was he was dumb for not accepting the plea deal because there was some chance at bringing this down to a misdemeanor, a conditional discharge, a diversion program, or some other resolution that might have not left him with a felony on his record forever. So my reason for saying he was dumb and not seeking a plea is because, well, it seems like they've got you cold. They found the drugs in the home, Nick. It's like it's your drugs, Nick. So unless you're trying to say, no, it really is someone else's drugs, I was framed, which, he hasn't been saying that, then seeking a plea was the best option. You'd be like, I'm really sorry. I've left a good life. Please show mercy on me. There might have been some opportunity at the beginning for a misdemeanor, for a conditional discharge, for a diversion program. And then Nick, by, doing all the things that he's been doing, has made those things erode. Now, maybe it was the case that was never an option. Maybe it was the case that was never an option. But it would have been helpful to try to pursue it. It would have been helpful to try to be like, to try to find that path. I think there was a realistic possibility. The state probably wasn't going to go to the wall for a first-time offender for simple possession. It happens every day. Drugs are every day. The courts are flooded with drug cases. If you can come up with a nice, easy resolution and just take this away from this, make everyone happy, then that's, that would be probably a good thing to do. So he was kind of dumb because he didn't really pursue that option, and instead went with, I'm calling the state and the cops a liar. They're a bunch of liars. Oh, okay. That's definitely the way to win friends and influence people. They're liars against me. Oh, that'll definitely ingratiate yourself with the government. That's the kind of thing the prosecutor loves to hear. That's the kind of thing that's really just going to make the prosecutor be like, boy, oh boy, I'm so glad I'm going to go work with this guy. He's calling me and the cops a bunch of liars. Boy, oh boy, am I ready to make a deal. So all those reasons would be the reasons I thought that he perhaps handled his defense less than optimally. And now he's probably looking at a resolution of a 4th degree with 2 years probation and his continuing supervision of what Nick Rekieta would call the fun police. Because he's not allowed to have fun anymore because he's not allowed to drink and do drugs. How sad.